surveillance that we pulled. A black sedan, two-door vehicle, stopped at the red light at 27th Street and Main Street. The vehicle's facing northbound in the northbound lanes. According to witnesses and according to some surveillance that we pulled, a black male flees from that vehicle out of the passenger side. About simultaneously, the driver's side door opens, and there was some type of struggle between the driver and an individual in the back seat. It goes on for a few seconds where some words are said back and forth between those two individuals. The suspect in this case is the driver. He steps back, starts shooting multiple times into that vehicle. Almost simultaneously, our police officer who was on duty just left another call for service. Officer Brian Roan pulled up, saw an individual shooting into a vehicle. He stepped out of his vehicle, shot multiple times at the suspect, striking him. The suspect went to the ground in a nearby parking lot. Rescue was called, and rescue transported that suspect to a nearby hospital where he died. Ultimately, we've got a lot of witnesses that we're interviewing, cold cases out, doing their what they do. We've got evidence technicians pulling evidence. We've got witnesses being interviewed, evidence being processed. The state attorney's office is on scene doing their own independent investigation. This is officer involved incident number 3 for the year. I'll give you the information on the shooting officer. His name is Brian Roan, R-O-N-E. He's been on the force for 16 years, and this is his first officer-involved shooting. I will say I mentioned an individual that fled from the vehicle before the shooting happened. There's a black male that we do have some photos that we're going to release, and we ask that if anybody has any information on who this person is or if he's watching, please contact us at 904-630-0500. And that's, I can take some questions if you want.
Is the person who fled a suspect in any capacity, or just want them for more information?
It's so fluid right now, we need to identify that person and talk to him.
And I know it's just a busy street out here. Were there any other cars that were hit from either the officer's bullets or the person shooting into the car?
I believe there's one other vehicle that I'm aware of, but yeah, it was a busy intersection.
Were there any other injuries to the person who was also in the car at the time that was being shot at?
Does not appear that person was shot.
So, so the only person that was taken to the hospital was the suspect who ended up.
The person in the backseat did go to the hospital but not for gun-related incident.
Was there any kind of car crash that led up to this, or just the officer arrived and they were already shooting?
There's no crash.
Is there any indication of how many times the suspect fired into the car, and then is there any indication of how many times the officer shot the suspect?
I would say multiple times by each.
Any idea how long this is still going to be closed off?
Probably several hours.
Do you have an age of the two, both the suspect that was shot and then also the person who was taken to the hospital for non-life?
I can tell you the person that is deceased is a black male that's 30. I don't have the information on the other.
And then just in a situation like this where there were so many different moving parts, things happening simultaneously, in your kind of job, like how difficult is this to piece this all together while also trying to get people information?
Sure.
Can you walk us through what this process is?
Sure. So I always describe it as putting a piece of puzzle together, right? You get pieces all over the place down there that we're trying to just put the puzzle together and figure it all out. And I would stress that one of the big pieces of the puzzle is that person that fled that vehicle. So it's an ongoing thing, and we'll get to the bottom of it with time.
Did the officer hear any shouting? I know he saw the shooting, but did he hear any? Was there shouting?
He did, but I'd rather not go into those details just yet.
And will FDLE be brought in to investigate the officer's actions?
No, we investigate ours.
Thank
All right?
you, Director.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And you said you're just emailing us those photos?
Yeah, we give them.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, y'all. Thank you.